Hey everyone, my name is Chris. I was the executive producer, one of the writers, one of the directors. I played Terry Wentworth Milnes, and I also played Paycheck Boy on rooMMates, the web series. And welcome to this bonus video. Basically what I wanted to do in this bonus video was just show some of the concepts and ideas or alternate concepts that we almost did for the series, you know, back when we were filming it, or things that we completely discarded, or things that we never even considered because the show was over at that point. What I'm showing you guys right now, this is a document of mine that's called Untitled Webcam Show. And basically, before I even knew what rooMMates was going to be, I had this whole, thing prepared here. And this was back when I was just trying to figure out what the show was going to be about, what were we going to do. Season 1 was going to be 10 episodes long. And it was all going to be from the perspective of a webcam. Yeah, we were going to go in that direction. Obviously, the series changed after the first 5 episodes. And, 6 through 9 became season 2. The alien episode is very interesting. Basically, what we would do in the writer's room, we would either meet it was usually at Brian's house in his bedroom when he was living with his parents, because this was back in the college years. We would all meet up there, and we would have like meetings. We would, tell ourselves, okay, the next time we meet a week from now, let's have all our scripts done. And we'll talk about them. The first episode was its own thing. It was the pilot, basically. The second episode I wrote was episode 4 was Chug-O-Rama, and I just wanted to have fun with the rooMMates. I wanted to kind of like put them out there. My original episode 7 was called Alien Invasion, and I got up to 3 drafts, and the third draft is dated November 7th, 2008, and it was basically that there was the camera, while it was recording, picked up a radio signal or a signal from an alien craft, I'm not sure how, and it kind of took over the recording of the video. And it was that an alien was basically announcing that he was going to destroy Earth, and then the alien had roommates aboard his spaceship that came in, and the roommates were basically alien versions of the roommates from the show. And it becomes very clear that this alien supreme leader is basically the Terry of the group. And he gets picked on by the aliens. They say that they accidentally destroyed his death ships that were going to come down to Earth to destroy it. And basically the roommate aliens saved the world, because that guy, I think at the end he's like, You've survived this time, but I'll be back, and then he goes away. And that was the episode. The reason why we didn't do that episode was for a ton of reasons, to be honest. The first and most important one was, I think Brian had said, yeah, I can animate it for you. We wouldn't have had time to have made that episode and made it episode 7. It would have been the final episode or something like that, and it would have just been too much work for something that, quite frankly, and this is point number 2, it wasn't that funny. Like, I don't know, it was like a waste of an episode. Why bother focusing on these aliens when you could focus on, the actual roommate? The episode that actually became, which was episode 6, Hair, Baseball, and a Tattoo, that was actually first and only draft May 28th, 2009. So this was after we had shot everything from season 1. This was after we had kind of restructured the show. And, I felt, I guess what we should do with the, when we switched everything around, I felt that we all decided, the writers, that it would be better to open the show almost like a second pilot, if you think about it. So here I have the show Bible, and I have little descriptions I wrote for all the characters. Terry Milnes, the only character we gave a last name, main character, is studying to be a psychologist and has created a website for helping people with problems. He answers them via webcam entries. might be gay. Rob, one of the 3 roommates that live with Terry, is a musician that digs on his acoustic guitar, is studying music at school, loves to party, does part-time modeling. We definitely dropped the part-time modeling thing. Lewis, always drunk. This is the 2nd roommate of Terry. Always seems to have some sort of liquor in his hand. Loves to drink and loves to fuck. Is studying anthropology. The anthropology thing never came up, ever. We never talked about that. I just wanted to give everyone a major because I thought that would be kind of interesting, just so we knew that, what they were doing as college students. Bo, a straight up gangsta. Just picture a white boy who thinks he's black. Kind of generic, but we could work with him. Secretly is studying psychology also, and is actually really sensitive. We do not find out until the last episode, so for the whole season he's this gangsta, though we could have very slight hints towards his intelligence, but really slight. Totally true. I mean, I think that's pretty much what the Bo character was. I wrote here season 2. This was back when we thought season 1 was going to be 10 episodes. And at that point, it was so difficult to do 10 episodes that I thought, well, season 2 should be only 5 episodes. And here I wrote that, I had wanted. I don't know if he would have done it. I don't think I ever showed any of the writers this. This is just something I wrote myself. I wrote here, so season 2, episode 1 would have been written and directed by Brian. Episode 2 would have been written and directed by me. 3 would have been written by Mike and possibly directed by somebody else, because I knew Mike wanted to start directing, so I thought, hey, maybe he would want to direct his own episode. Episode 4, all of us would have co-written together, and I don't know who would have directed that episode. The finale, episode 5, all of us would have co-directed or co-wrote, and I was considering myself as the director of the finale. And I have here outlines of where we would have went. So Terry would be trying to hide his secret agent status from the other roommates, so it would almost be like a superhero type thing, almost like Spider-Man, where he would come in and like hide a gun or something really quickly, or cover himself with a blanket because he's wearing his suit or something like that. Lewis and Rob would have been competing against each other for a girl that they were interested in. Bo would have been tormented by inner Bo. Now, I don't remember correctly, but I think what we would have done with inner Bo was it would have been something similar to what we did in the movie, where he's thinking in his head all the time, but we would have expanded it even more. Like, I remember there's one scene I wanted to do that I was actually inspired by a photograph that Mike and Brian had taken of Nolo and Victor together, who played Bo, where at one point Victor Bo would have looked into the mirror and seen Nolo Bo. Greg, I wrote here, is trying to gain acceptance with the roommates. And then in the season finale, Rob was going to get shot by an unknown assailant, and it was to be resolved in season 3. We're going to end on a cliffhanger. And I had basically gotten the idea from the show Dallas, old show, where one of the main characters, JR, got shot by somebody, and in between seasons there's a big marketing campaign of who shot JR. That was the big thing, and everyone's like, oh my god, who was it? And so I wanted to do the same thing, who shot Rob, and that would have been the big thing leading up to season 3 if we would have done that. And my intention was that we would have made it that Rob shot Rob. He didn't shoot himself. Another Rob shot Rob. And what we would have done was season 3 would have opened. It would have been a cold opening of Terry talking to the other Rob and telling him, like, so let me get this straight. You remember everything that Rob said. You remember everything that Rob did up to his death. And you look and sound exactly like Rob. And then he would have been like, that's right. And so it would have been that he had all of Rob's memories up to that point, and he was biologically Rob. He was just another Rob. Not his brother, not a clone. We wouldn't have even dived into that. And then Terry would have been like, well, I guess you could join us. And that would have been it. So it would have been like completely unnecessary. Rob, shot himself. It doesn't. Who the fuck cares? Like, it didn't matter at all. And we never would have referenced to Rob dying ever again. It would have been, oh, it would have been so great. We had a show that was called. We were thinking of doing a spin-off show that was going to be called rooMMates: The Lost Episodes. It was really me and Mike were coming up with this idea, and we really wanted to do it, and we ended up not doing it. I think just near the end we kind of like all went our separate ways, and the idea never came into fruition. But essentially the idea would have been that it would have been like an anthology series where each episode would have been set in a different point in the timeline. So it could have been during the show, during the movie, after the movie, you know, stuff like that. And we had 3 ideas. We were going to do a Shawshank Redemption ripoff with Lewis meeting Rob somewhere. So like a 10-minute low-budget version of that. We were going to have an episode where we were going to literally be inside of Lewis, and like it would have been like the greatest. Well, it was a movie, the old movie where a ship shrinks down and goes into the human body. It would have basically been our version of that, except it would have been inside Lewis's ass. There's a scene in the movie where Rob's watch gets stuck in Lewis's butt, and that would have been where we would have started the episode. And we actually go in his butt and we try to get the watch. And the inside of Lewis would have looked like the roommate's house, and you know, each of his body parts, like his heart and his brain, would have been different. Like I think Terry was his heart, his brain was Rob. It was like different parts of his body would have been different roommate people, and it was such a great idea. We're gonna put like filters and like effects in post production to make it look like kind of like otherworldly. And then the last episode we had was something called Rob Chases Bo, and it at the end of rooMMates the movie where he's like, I'm still not dead. It would have been him chasing Nolo Bo as he drove off. And yeah, that was pretty much all the ideas to the series that we had, including a spin-off that we never did. At the end of the day, I'm very happy with the way the show turned out. That is probably one of the most fun things I ever had. Filming with people. Only time ever I had like a writer's room where I got together with everyone and I worked on something, and I had a blast. It was really a lot of fun making, and I hope you guys enjoy the show, and all the special features we have on here, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.